I know that in '96, at some point, I believe it was the second half of '96, Kevin Swain did the video for Nate Dogg, Never. And I know his album was set to come out in pretty early of '97. I want to say maybe February or March of '97. Um, the single was out. There were ads in the source and whatnot for the Nate Dogg album. And then abruptly, the album does not come out. We all know that it came out a year later on Breakaway, and they added another disc to it. But going back to the '96, '97, do you know why Nate Dogg pulled out, or did Death Row pull out, or what was the situation with that Nate Dogg album, and how were you made aware that he was going to be leaving the label?
He hadn't decided to leave the label yet. What happened was Interscope left Death Row. That's right around the time where Interscope were cutting off Death Row. He got caught in that Interscope Death Row drama. There was a whole bunch of those singles, or I remember up in the Powder Blue. It was a Powder Blue album cover that was floating around of Nate Dogg. They had gave the money for the video and to work the single, because like I said, back in the day, you used to work a single for about 3 months before an album came out. But what happened is the separation agreement, or the separation between Death Row and Suge started taking place. I'm sorry, Death Row and Interscope started taking place, and Nate Dogg got caught in the middle of that. The last album that I think that they did, that they were involved in, was one of the soundtracks, either Gridlock or Gang Related, whichever one came out first, and Lady of Rage album were the only two that are the last of non-Tupac albums that came out on Death Row with Interscope. And so what happened with that whole situation, it was just that unfortunately Nate Dogg had bad timing, and the situation with Death Row and Interscope was getting separated, and he got left by the wayside. Now, Nate Dogg went because we was getting stuff worked out. Suge ended up getting a deal with Brian Turner and Priority Records, which I'm sure Priority would have put out Nate Dogg album, because Nate Dogg was hot, but they were over there putting out Who Banging, and gave Mac 10 that big deal, and he had his little deal, and stuff like that. Master P was over there kicking ass. But they would have still did a Nate Dogg album. But Nate Dogg was known for hooks and stuff like that. And Nate Dogg went out there and just started working on his own, and started doing hooks for a lot of different record or different artists. And there was this guy named David Mishry. That's who I ended up working for later on at American Music. He had this company called Breakaway Records. And he had Little Kiki and people like that. And he was hiring up Death Row people like crazy. That's what Papa G went and started working for. And Risky did some work for. And stuff like a couple other people. Keita Rock went over there. Well, Keita Rock was over there because of Big C Style and Das, and all of them had a relationship. But my boy David Mishry, me and him became real tight. My boy Bob Gotti still works with him to this day. He built electric cars and stuff like that, and doing some boxing promoting stuff. But he took and came up there. Me and Dave became real tight. We was looking out and stuff, and he had Nate Dogg, and Nate Dogg was suing for royalties, what everybody was doing back then. And me and Dave Mishry came up with an agreement. And I got Nate Dogg, Dave Mishry got us $500,000 and to sign off on any royalties or anything being owed to him. And we sold him that disc, that album. Well, I think where they messed up at is they didn't come up with Nate Dogg 12 to 14 best songs. They just went on and Nate Dogg had some new stuff out, and then he took the disc that was already made, the CD that was already made by Death Row, and he made a double disc. But I really think Nate Dogg should have sat back and probably picked 14 songs, and we would probably know more about that G-Funk Classic CD than we really do know. But I think because it was on a label that wasn't known, Breakaway Records, who had a distribution deal with, I forget who they was even distributed by. But yeah, that's what happened with Nate Dogg. But have y'all ever heard me really talk bad about Nate Dogg? Nate Dogg is somebody I generally always liked, had a lot of love and respect for. And it's probably because I can sing his songs, because I think that's why we always like Nate Dogg, is because we can sing along with his songs. But man, I kind of one of the artists that really passed away that I hated that I wasn't doing this YouTube stuff with, and because I know he would have came and did something with me, and yeah, I always had a great relationship with Nate Dogg, and rest in peace to Nate Dogg, and still one of my favorite singers on hooks. The king of hooks is what I always called him. I know T-Pain and some of the females have taken over that range, but Nate Dogg was one of the first and the best in my opinion. Shout out Nate Dogg.
Yeah, I feel like how you spoke earlier about how the general public kind of turned on Death Row. I feel like if that Nate Dogg album had come out before that, I think it would have done really good, just based off of this, not only the material but the features. He had Snoop, he had Corrupt, he had Daz, he had Tupac, he had all the people on there, for it to be a Death Row quote unquote family album. So I thought it would have done good.
So we're gonna come up with this program for you guys, where we want all you up and coming rappers, where y'all can pay $200 or a fee, where y'all DM either me on IG or John, hopefully John, because he's gonna be the one coordinating it, at bombfirsthotmail.com. So I'll say it again, bombfirsthotmail.com. This is a new program, y'all, where y'all can play y'all music. Y'all can come on. It can be a song with a sample in it. You DM John, he'll give you all the specifics. But you can come on, and we're going to give you a special day that we're going to play music on Bomb First, and you can rap a 2 to 3 minute song. Sing, rap, or whatever. The second part of the program is that you also can do. All of y'all always talking about, John always asking Reggie nice questions. All these soft questions. I got better questions for Reggie. So for a fee of $300, John may even let y'all do $250. I don't know. Y'all got to talk to John. But y'all DM him at bombfirst@hotmail.com. And for a nice fee, you can have 10 questions. Any questions you want. You're not going to be on camera. You're going to be like John. I may not even be on camera, depending on the date that we do it, how soon you want to do it. But we're going to give you the opportunity to ask 10 questions. We're going to put up the segments right after we do it. And you ask me those 10 questions, and I'll answer those 10 questions. Any topic. You can call me a fat pig. If that's how you want to spend your $300 for 10 questions, you can just call and say 10 crazy things to me. Ask me 10 crazy things. As long as it's within the YouTube and John's guidelines, we good. So, new program. Me and John trying to give to the Bomb First family community or our haters. However you want to be.